What if more than 30,000 copyrighted songs were used to train an AI music generator without permission? That's the allegation at the center of Sony Music Entertainment's lawsuit against Udio, an artificial intelligence company that lets you create songs from simple text prompts. And this isn't just a dispute between one record label and one technology startup. The outcome could help determine who controls the future of music, how AI companies train their models, and whether artists should be paid when their work helps build a commercial AI system. Before we dive deeper, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Because this story is about much more than music. It's about ownership, automation, creativity, and what original work means in the age of artificial intelligence. So, what exactly happened? According to the lawsuit described in the source material, Sony Music alleges that Udio used more than 30,000 of Sony's copyrighted sound recordings as training data for its AI music system. The complaint reportedly includes a detailed list of songs that Sony believes were used without authorization. The examples include recordings associated with major artists such as Elvis Presley, Beyoncé, and Harry Styles. Some of the songs identified as alleged examples include Elvis Presley's Hound Dog, Beyoncé's Say My Name, and Harry Styles' As It Was. Now, it's important to be precise here. These are allegations in an ongoing legal dispute. The lawsuit has not automatically proven that every recording on the list was used unlawfully, but Sony is arguing that Udio's training process crossed a legal line. And that line matters. It defines the boundary between inspiration and infringement. Sony is not simply claiming that Udio studied broad musical ideas such as rhythm, melody, or chord progressions. The company alleges that Udio used actual copyrighted sound recordings to develop a commercial AI system. That distinction is at the heart of the case. Think about how a human musician learns. A musician may listen to thousands of songs, study different genres. Notice how producers build arrangements and eventually develop a personal sound. AI companies argue that their systems do something similar. They analyze patterns in existing work and use those patterns to generate something new. But the scale is completely different. A human musician may spend years absorbing influences. An AI model can process enormous quantities of audio, identify patterns across thousands or millions of recordings, and then turn what it learned into a product that generates new music on demand. That raises a straightforward question. Should an AI company be allowed to use copyrighted music to build a competing commercial system without asking permission or paying for access? Sony's answer appears to be no. The number involved makes the dispute even more significant. More than 30,000 recordings is not a small sample. These are commercially valuable works connected to some of the most recognizable artists and catalogs in music history. Sony has reportedly argued that the list of 30,000 songs may represent only a small portion of the works it believes Udio infringed. If that claim is accurate, the lawsuit is not simply about a few questionable examples. It could involve the entire way Udio trained and developed its system. For AI companies, high-quality training data is extremely valuable. The more music a model can analyze, the more convincing its output may become. That training can help an AI system generate realistic vocals, professional arrangements, recognizable production styles, emotional melodies, and songs that sound complete rather than experimental. But for record labels and artists, that same training data represents years of creative work, investment, recording sessions, marketing, performances, and commercial value. The catalog is an asset. Sony's argument is that Udio allegedly used that asset without authorization, then built a product capable of generating new music that could compete with human-created recordings. And Sony is not alone in challenging this industry. The source material describes a broader legal action involving Sony Music, Universal Music Group, and Warner Records, the three major music companies, against Udio and another AI music generator called Suno. That alignment is important. When multiple major labels take similar legal action, it signals that they see generative music as a serious threat to the existing music business. The labels are concerned about licensing revenue, artist rights, royalties, and the long-term value of recorded music. Imagine a future where you can type a prompt and receive a convincing song in seconds. You could request a pop track, a cinematic soundtrack, a commercial jingle, or a background song for a social media video. That could make music creation faster and more accessible. But it could also reduce demand for professional musicians, producers, session vocalists, and composers in certain markets. And if the generated song sounds remarkably similar to a famous artist, who should be responsible? Should the responsibility fall on the company that trained the model, the person who entered the prompt, or the platform that distributed the result? Those questions become even more complicated when an AI-generated song does not directly copy an original recording, but still reproduces recognizable elements from it. For example, what happens if the melody is different but the vocal performance sounds extremely similar? What if the lyrics are new but the arrangement follows a protected recording? What if the system recreates the overall feel of a specific artist so accurately that listeners believe the artist was involved? A perfect copy is relatively easy to identify. The more difficult question is how similar a new work can be before it becomes an unauthorized derivative. Sony reportedly argues that AI outputs can include melodies, harmonies, arrangements, vocal characteristics, and other qualities that stem from its catalog. The company also reportedly gained access to what the source material describes as Udio's secret list of music through legal discovery. That could become a critical part of the case. Legal discovery can provide each side with internal documents, records, communications, and other evidence. If Sony can show that Udio intentionally used specific copyrighted recordings during training, that could strengthen the label's argument. Udio and other AI companies, however, can make a different case. They can argue that their systems do not directly copy or distribute the original recordings. Instead, the models learn broad musical relationships and produce new material. From that perspective, generating a new song is similar to a human artist being influenced by music they have heard. But critics argue that the comparison has limits. A human musician does not usually ingest an entire commercial catalog at machine speed, automate the analysis, and sell access to a system that can generate unlimited new tracks. The scale, speed, and commercial purpose are different. That is why this case matters beyond Sony and Udio. The same legal conflict is appearing across almost every creative industry. Artists are asking whether their work can be used to train image generators. Writers are asking whether books and articles can be absorbed into language models. Filmmakers are questioning whether their footage can be used to develop competing systems. The music industry is simply one of the clearest examples because recorded songs are valuable, identifiable, and closely connected to individual artists. If Sony and the other labels succeed, AI music companies may need to license training data, negotiate payments, or use what is known as clean data, content that has been properly authorized for model development. That could make AI music tools more expensive. It could also limit the amount of material available for training. But there may be a positive side. A licensing system could create a structure where artists and rights holders share in the value created by AI. Instead of treating creative work as free raw material, AI companies could pay for access and build more transparent partnerships with the people whose work makes these systems possible. If the labels lose, the industry could move toward what some critics describe as a wild west of AI-generated content. Companies might continue training on copyrighted catalogs while arguing that their systems only learn patterns and never distribute the original files. That result could give AI companies more freedom to innovate, but it could also make it harder for artists to control how their work is used. The practical takeaway is this: AI is not just changing how music gets produced, it is forcing society to define the value of creative work. The technology can lower barriers and help more people create. That is a real benefit. But access and innovation do not automatically erase ownership rights. The winning solution probably will not be about stopping AI completely. It will be about creating rules that allow innovation while giving artists meaningful control, compensation, and transparency. The labels want protection. AI companies want room to build. Artists want their work respected, and you want tools that are affordable, useful, and trustworthy. Those goals can coexist, but only if copyright is treated as part of the foundation, not as an afterthought. So, what do you think? Should AI companies have the right to train on copyrighted music without permission if the final output is technically new? Or should every catalog, artist, and recording require a license before it can be used for training? Drop your thoughts in the comments because your answer could help shape the future of AI creativity. To sum it up, Sony Music is accusing Udio of using more than 30,000 copyrighted sound recordings to train its AI music generator. The case raises a fundamental question. Is AI learning from music, or is it using music as an unlicensed commercial resource? The answer could affect Udio, Suno, Sony, Universal, Warner, and every other company building generative AI tools. The hype cycle rewards noise. The market rewards outcomes. And in this case, the outcome could define the rules for AI and creativity for years to come. Want to dig deeper into how AI could impact your career, your team, or your company? Click to watch the related video in the corner. Don't miss it. And if you found this useful, go ahead and like, subscribe, drop a comment, and share your take on AI and bias. Let's keep this conversation real and honest.